Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most exciting transformations happening right now, the digital metamorphosis of the factory floor. We're going to explore how apparel manufacturing is shifting from old-school workshops into the super smart factories of the future.
You know, this quote right here, it just nails it. We're not just talking about getting a few new machines. We're talking about the factory itself becoming this living, breathing, thinking organism that's powered by data. So how on earth does a factory actually make that leap? Well, let's break it all down.
All right, so first, let's start at the beginning. We need to understand the traditional factory. For, decades, most manufacturing floors have operated as what you could call a silent factory. It's basically a black box.
So why a black box? Well, it's because the most important parts of the factory, all the machines doing the actual work, are totally disconnected. You know, they're humming along, doing their job, but they're not talking to each other. They're not talking to any central system. They're just silent.
And that, right there, that's the heart of the problem. These older machines are, for lack of a better word, dumb. They can't raise their hand and say, hey, I'm running a little slow today, or I think my motor is about to fail. There's absolutely no data flowing out of them, and that creates some really huge problems.
And the fallout from that is massive. Without any real-time data, trying to schedule production is just a guessing game. Quality issues? You don't find them until an entire batch of clothing is already finished, which means incredible waste. And what if you get a new, urgent order? Forget about it. It can take days to switch things over, leaving the whole operation feeling slow and totally behind the curve.
So the very first step in this whole revolution is to give those machines a voice. It's all about turning that dumb equipment into active, communicating sources of data. And here's the best part. You don't have to throw everything out and buy all new stuff.
So check this out. There are actually some really practical, pretty low-cost ways to make these old machines talk. For a simple sewing machine, for example, you can just add some cheap IoT sensors to track its vibration and status. For a machine that has a basic computer controller, you can use a little gateway device to translate its old language into something modern. And to track where every single order is, you can use simple RFID tags. It's brilliant, really. And you don't have to do a massive, scary overhaul all at once. The smart way to do it is with this simple three-step path. First, you just assess your factory and figure out where the biggest headaches are. Second, you run a small pilot program on just one production line to prove that it actually works. And third, once you see those amazing results, then you scale it across the entire factory. It's manageable.
Okay, so our machines finally have a voice. They're talking. But who are they talking to? This is where we get to the really cool part, building the factory's digital brain. This is the central nervous system that's going to take in all that data and actually make sense of it.
Now, it's super important to get this. The digital brain isn't one giant piece of software you just go out and buy. It's really an interconnected network, a team of specialized systems all working together. And on that team, there's one clear leader on the ground, a central commander. So, at the very top, you've got the ERP. You can think of this as the company's general manager or CEO. It handles the big picture strategy, the master production plans, the company's finances, all the inventory. It sets the overall goals. Then you have the PLM. This system is like the product's digital DNA. Seriously, it's a vault that holds every single tiny detail about a product. The design files, the exact materials needed, the precise stitching standards. It is the absolute source of truth for the product itself. And that brings us to the real hero on the factory floor, the MES, or the Manufacturing Execution System. This is our central commander. Its job is to take those high-level plans from the general manager, the ERP, and the product recipe from the digital data, the PLM, and translate them into real-time, minute-by-minute instructions for every machine and every worker.
Let's make this real. Let's follow a single jacket as it gets made. The ERP gets the order and sends it down to the MES. The MES immediately pulls that jacket's recipe from the PLM and tells the smart warehouse to pick the exact fabric needed. As the jacket moves down the line, machines read its RFID tag and automatically adjust their own settings. AI-powered cameras are checking the seam quality at every single step. All of this data, every single action, is captured, creating a digital twin, a perfect digital history of that one specific jacket.
And when you get all these systems working in harmony, that's when the factory truly awakens. The whole operation shifts from a world of guesswork and putting out fires to a world of data-driven guarantees and total control.
And the results? They're not just small improvements, they are staggering. Look, this isn't just a theory. A real-world company, the HBark Intelligent Factory, put this system in place and saw their production efficiency jump by over 30%. That is a massive, game-changing impact on the bottom line.
Let's just take quality control as an example. The old way was basically a post-mortem, right? You inspect the garment after it's already finished, which is usually too late to fix anything cheaply. But the new way? It's all about full process traceability. AI vision and sensors are watching everything, flagging a bad stitch the second it happens, not an hour later.
This system also unlocks something the fashion world has been chasing for years: incredible agility. The factory can now easily handle small batch, quick response orders. Switching a production line over to a completely new style doesn't take days anymore. It takes a few hours. That is a complete game changer.
But you know, this revolution isn't just about the machines and the software. It completely changes the role of the people on the factory floor. It actually creates a whole new breed of artisan for this new digital age. You have to fundamentally rethink what a company's core assets even are. In the past, a factory's value was tied up in its physical machines and how many workers it had. But today, and definitely in the future, the most valuable assets are the data the factory generates and the algorithms that make sense of that data.
This all leads to a brand new partnership, a new relationship between humans and technology. And it's summed up perfectly in this quote: "AI executes, human beings govern." All the repetitive, boring tasks get automated, which frees people up to move into much more valuable roles.
So who is this new digital artisan? Well, they're part craftsman, part data scientist. They still need to understand the art of making beautiful clothes, of course, but now they're also analyzing data from the factory systems, they're collaborating with AI to solve tough problems, and they're focusing their human energy on creativity and strategic choices, things a machine could never, ever do. So all of this leaves us with one final, really critical question. A question you have to ask yourself as we look to the future. What is a factory's greatest asset? Is it the heavy machinery bolted to the floor? Or is it the massive, untapped river of data that machinery could be producing? The answer to that question is what will separate the winners from the losers in this digital revolution.